Welcome to the Small Scape and welcome to 8 nano fish that I would not recommend to just anyone. Now on this list you may find some of my all-time favorite fish. However, they all have qualifications that I would give to somebody. So I can't just blanket, suggest these to anybody. And number one is the betta. Now 5 years ago, I probably would not have put this on my list here, but lately I have a hard time recommending the betta and even having a betta myself because of the massive amount of inbreeding and health issues, short lifespans. If you are looking to get a betta, I would recommend you go through a reputable dealer or breeder. I think 5 gallons is the minimum to keep a single betta. And then when you're talking kit tanks, the flow is often way too high. So I would always add that you need to kind of buffer that, and there's ways to do that by either adding a sponge or putting hardscaping, whatever. So with all those disclaimers, I think it just gets very, kind of complicated to recommend them. But for any of these fish on the list, I will include in the description any species profiles that we may have done on them. Number 2 is another one of my absolute all-time favorite nano fish, and that is the pea puffer. Now, why would I not necessarily recommend this to a lot of people? Well, that's because of the fact that they are picky eaters. Very, very picky eaters. They require live foods. The ones that I have kept currently and in the past would either eat snails, that means, and mine are very shy. I don't know what it is, but I always get the ones that are very, very meek, and I have to crush the snails for them. They actually very rarely go towards a live snail because they're, I think, afraid of them. And I will also have to give them baby brine, which is some work and just something to think about. Daphnia, they can also take. Some people do get away with using frozen foods. And then along with number 3, the scarlet batis is the same issue. So these are just issues that you have to keep in mind that may add some stress, some things to think about. The scarlet batis also requires live foods and can be very, very particular. I remember I had a male and a female, and those females are very hard to come by. So a lot of people are looking for them, but they're very hard to find. So when you do keep multiple males in a tank, you do need to be careful because they can be very territorial. They are tiny, but they are mighty, and they can be little, kind of little mean. So if you are looking to breed these, just know that it'll be very difficult to find females. And not only can males kind of have issues with other males, but also with other smaller fish. If you plan on keeping them together, they can also be kind of mean towards them as well. So just a number of points to keep in mind with this tiny little fish. Number 4, the dwarf gourami. Now, a number of gouramis I absolutely love. I love the sparkling gourami, the honey gourami, but there's also the dwarf gourami, and this is Emmett. I loved him. He was very, very beautiful. They show a lot of color, and they can be really a centerpiece fish, like a large fish for a nano tank, 20 gallons and under. But they can be a little bit more aggressive than their smaller counterparts. And it's just something to keep in mind. They're beautiful, but they can be kind of aggressive. And then also the dwarf gourami disease. They are very susceptible to this disease. Once they get it, it's a virus that's fatal. There's no cure for it. So it's just something to keep in mind. They don't actually, it's a funny thing, I don't think it even passes to other fish, but they are extremely prone to the dwarf gourami disease. Number 5 is another one of my absolute favorites for tiny tanks, small tanks, nano tanks. Any little tank is usually just calling for shrimp because they are so tiny, so much fun to watch. The Neocaridina I find to be really fun. However, a couple disclaimers are, first of all, if you are talking super tiny tanks, this is sometimes one of the only things you can put in them. But you also have to watch out for the water parameters because water parameters can really fluctuate with those super tiny tanks. And then also tank mates are usually very limited. We have done a video, I will link it in the description, but pygmy cories, chili rasboras, and mystery snails are some of the tank mates that I find suitable, but you have to be really careful even with small nanofish. If the shrimp can fit in their mouth, they're probably going to go bye-bye. Number 6, the green kubutai. And when you're talking nanofish, this is probably one of most people's favorite nanofish. Matter of fact, Mr. Primetime, this is one of his favorites. So this is probably going to be a very uncommon, not popular opinion. That's okay. This is my list. I just don't find myself recommending this fish because most people, if you're going to have a planted tank, and a lot of people will have a planted tank, this is the color plants that you will probably see are the light green, the bright green plants, Anubias, Crypts, all your nano plants that you're going to find in nano tanks. And the green kubutai, I think, is very hard to see. And another reason is that they generally just don't do that well. They're not that hardy in our water in the Chicagoland area here. I don't know if it's just us, but generally when we've kept them in the past, they just haven't made it that long. So I just don't find them that hardy in my experience. Now, number 7, I kind of combine these. Apistos. Let's talk about them. They are beautiful. I love the apistos. There's a number of varieties, the Panduro, the Agassizii. They're beautiful fish. They're cichlids. So number 1, you have to be careful because they can be slightly aggressive. So you do have to be very careful with who you're going to be putting them in with because, well, cichlids are cichlids and they can be prone to some aggression and some territory issues. The other thing is, if you are an aquascaper like I am, the issue will be that they like to dig, and they will dig. They will move around your hardscaping, your beautiful aquascape, and that just may not be something that you are looking for in your nicely aquascaped tank. And the same thing goes with the cribensis, the cribs. They will also dig, making their homes throughout the tank, and so you have to be really careful with hardscaping. Make sure it's very, very secure. Usually put the hardscaping down first and then add the sand or the gravel and whatnot so there isn't a lot of shifting. The other thing is they are very territorial. They are cichlids, so cichlids can usually do have a little bit of an attitude, so there can be a little bit of, kerfuffles going on throughout the tank. But just a couple things to keep in mind. Oh, and with the cribs also, you probably will get some breeding if you have a pair that mate, and you just keep that in mind. If you are not looking to get, more babies, it may not be a good choice. Number 8 is a very popular choice, and I do love guppies. However, the fact that they are such prolific breeders, I've heard so many people say, yeah, I didn't expect that. I have so many babies I don't know what to do with, and then they're looking for tank mates to take care of the babies. It's just not something that I prefer to deal with, having so many extra fish in the tank. Of course, you can keep all males. That is an option. So that concludes my list. Let me know which ones did I forget, which ones do you agree with, do not agree with. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.